Now, what if I told you that tackling your debt was just like vacuuming your home? Now, you can't ignore the mess, but with the right tools, the right plan, you can get that debt down, budget like a pro. Now, here's the good news. Budgeting doesn't have to be dull. So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how a vacuum can teach you to budget like a pro and reduce that debt down to zero. So here we go. Okay, so thanks for joining my channel. I'm Premal Gohil, and in my videos, I use everyday household items. And in this video, we're using the trusty vacuum cleaner to explain complex financial concepts in a much more simple way. So here goes. Just imagine you obviously live in a house with a roof, it's got an attic, and it's got various rooms. You've got 3 bedrooms, a living room, you've got a kitchen, and you've probably got, I'm sure you've got a toilet as well, right? Debt and budgeting, the analogy I want to use is within this house, if you don't tackle debt, your house is going to build up dirt. It's going to get very, very, very messy, and it will just keep building and building. So just like vacuuming, you don't vacuum a whole house in one go, you'll tackle it room by room. And budgeting and tackling your debt is exactly the same. We're going to be using exactly the same concept. You may have things that you have to deal with. So for example, in our attic, we've got debt. And then in our bedroom, you might be paying rent or a mortgage. You've got maybe electricity and gas bills in bedroom 2. In bedroom 3, you've got to pay for your car. In bedroom 4, you might have leisure, like restaurants, and you go bowling, whatever it may be, and so on and so forth in the other rooms. But what happens if you don't split room by room, and if you don't use the vacuum to clean room by room is, well, let's take your debt and say you owed $100,000. Well, that 100,000 is what we call your principal, which is the amount you owe back to whoever you've borrowed from, whether that's been a bank or some other lender. But the other thing they charge, and these are the fees that they charge for lending you that money, is of course the interest, right? And that is usually expressed as a percentage of the overall principal per year, right? So for example, if you had a 10% interest every year, as well as the 100,000 that you owed, you're now owing an additional £10,000 on top for the interest. And if you don't pay it back, it grows and grows and grows. And this is the analogy of where your room just gets messier and messier. So much like your trusted vacuum cleaner, you want to be tackling the dirt, or in this case, your various bills, room by room. Right? So we've got 100,000, we owe some interest on it, it's growing. What we essentially do is, much like a vacuum cleaner, we tackle the debt first and it slowly chip away at it. And because we've been able to do that, we actually have more money for rent, electricity, gas, car, leisure, etc., because you've saved here and you're able to put it there, or you're able to put it away, invest it, whatever, right? And I want to give you a real life example of where this is possible. Okay, so we've got Jeff who has $100,000 of debt accruing at 10%. But what Jeff's been really good at is reducing some of his other costs. So he got a better deal on his electricity and gas. He got a better deal on his car. He took out some of his leisure costs, and he was able to use that to essentially vacuum his attic out, which is where his debt was. And actually what Jeff did is, over the next 3 years, he paid off more of the principal and got his debt down to zero. So he actually had no more dirt left in his attic. He was able to save more or spend more in some of the areas that were important to him, like, for example, leisure and going out. So this is a great example. If you treat budgeting like vacuuming and actually split down all the different areas that you spend money on, including any debt payments that you have, which you really need to get down early because obviously the interest accrues, then you put yourself in a much better situation financially overall over time. Key takeaways: don't bury your head in the sand when it comes to things like budgeting. Treat it like a house, split it into rooms, into all your key areas that you spend money on, and then get out that trusted vacuum and start vacuuming room by room, tackling the most important areas first, like things like debt that you really want to get out and clean up as quickly as possible. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. Please do like or subscribe. It really helps us get the word out of making complex financial concepts much more simple using everyday household items and objects. And until my next video, thank you.